sharing, I had a kind of a public question slash comment, if I could.
Okay, let me just read my little song and dance, alrighty?
Perfect.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Eyes.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. That was not exuberant, Abs.
Al, you, did I
What?
little snortle? You are crystal clear today.
What do
Your
you
voice,
mean?
So we,
Your audio.
We are on live right now, so
all right,
Up to you,
so shall we begin?
Yeah, song and dance.
All right, I will start with for the remotely conducted open meetings, okay? It, as a preliminary matter, this is Diane Coombs, acting chair. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipating are on the agenda today are present and can hear me. I'll call the members, and then you know the song and dance. Steve,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
Val,
Hi.
and me, Diane. Okay, and we got Kadeen
Here, present.
and Holly,
present.
and I think Kathy is not here.
Correct.
Then it says state each anticipated speaker. I don't know who we have as anticipated. I know that Matt's here.
I'm here.
So,
Lisa's
Lisa's
here.
Lisa's here. So, and it says introduction to remote meeting. Good morning or good afternoon as it is. This open meeting of the HDC is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirements of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted on the agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely, so long as reasonable public access is afforded, so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comments today. For this meeting, the HDC is convened by video conference via Zoom, as posted on the town website. For Zoom meetings, please note that this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Acknowledging, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Meeting materials, all supporting materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town website unless otherwise noticed. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. We are now returning to the first item on the agenda. But before we do so, let's need to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comments, questions, or motions, and please hold your name until called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking, and please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. Any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in the conversation with each other, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. And for items of public comment, all members have, after all members have spoken, the chair will afford public comments as follows. Staff will activate chat feature on YouTube. Members of the public who have comment or questions can use this feature to communicate with the public body. The chair and the staff will do their best to address the questions and comments. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call. There. So now we are attempting to start the agenda of Thursday, August 27th at 1 o'clock. So I need a motion to approve the agenda. Unless we have any changes, Kadeem.
We do not have any changes today.
Okay, so if somebody could make a motion, we'll proceed.
About to approve the agenda?
Yeah,
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
thank you. Steve,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
and me, Diane. Okay, so now our first thing is public comment. I did hear a statement saying maybe a public comment person was here to make a public comment.
Yeah, and, Madam Chair, that was me. And if I just had a question or a request, if I could.
Yes, please.
Number one, I was actually going to, given primarily just about the schedule. So this old business meeting was carried over probably from Tuesday. And but basically, given the way that the schedule is set up, the next old business meeting after this is going to be, if I understand correctly, on the 24th of September.
22nd, right?
22nd.
My birthday.
Happy birthday.
Just note that.
Birthday. A special day. I was going to ask if there's any way that if there's any remaining old business items that are on the agenda, is there any way that they could be added to the new business agenda so that the applicants aren't waiting a month to be heard again? Just because obviously it's a pretty big gap between old business meetings. So I just wanted to see if that's something the board would entertain.
I will ask one of our staff members, and then we could take a vote on that. So that it could go. That's a long gap.
It is.
Yeah, it is. And I realized it today too for the first time. I asked somebody when the next old business deadline was, and they said it's not until this first September 22nd, which, so I appreciate you bringing the question up, Matt. I was going to ask Ray when I saw him, but.
Yeah. And then the other thing, in the interest of expediting today, because I know everyone's time is limited, I was going to ask the board and or the staff if I could put agenda item number 6, hold it over to the next old business meeting, because it's the 5 South Water Street, which is a good sized project. And I know that could take up a chunk of time. I know everyone's time is limited today. And then also I was going to ask if I could withdraw item 7, which is the demo move off of 73 Baxter Garage.
Okay, so we're holding 6 and removing 7, right?
7, yeah. And we talked to staff earlier, and they told us to do it at the meeting. That's why I'm asking now. So thank you, Madam
All
Chair.
right. Well, we approved the agenda, so we should, we'll do consent next and then go into, old business, at which time we will make a motion to hold 6 and 7, okay?
And Diane, we actually do have signs today too.
We have signs. Oh,
We do.
my machine looks like it missed that part. I go right to consent and then to 1. I don't know what. So we'll do consent first anyway, because signs.
There are no consent items on this application. You might be looking at Tuesday's agenda. Those consent items were all approved. So to
Okay,
just have signs and then old business.
all right. I don't know what happened to it. I've thrown it out trying to get my printer to work. But anyway, our next thing, we have approved the agenda. So our next thing is signs.
Motion to approve signs.
We will approve signs. So if I might have the first one. See, if mine skips that. Public comment. I don't know what agenda I have, but I'm on my iPad and it doesn't do it. So anyway, what is the first sign?
The first sign is a wall sign at 8 Hannibia Lane, and the sign advisory council didn't have a quorum, but Chris Young, the chairman, did recommend approval for both signs.
Okay, so we will get one for, can we then do it? They're both the same people. Are they, they got to be the same. So could I have a motion approving 1 and 2 as approved by the sign committee?
So moved.
Thank you. Val,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
and Steve,
Aye.
and me. Aye. Okay, so our next thing, thank you very much. Our next thing is at 60 Walt Street,
Yep. That's
Father
me.
Kelly and Cole.
Yep, hello.
You want to start, Lisa?
Yes, this was a view. The last submission had, I think the major concerns were the cupola, which we removed. Thinking maybe we can go back and ask for it another time, although it is quite visible from North Beach Street, so it's probably not in the cards. There was also concern about the batten board, which we removed, again, with the idea that depending on the visibility, but I think you will see the upper half of the building from North Water Street, and then, or North Beach Street, excuse me. And then the third was the glass garage doors in the back. And I'm proposing just to do some barn track doors on that elevation instead.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I do have comments from Historic Structures.
Okay.
They appreciate the change to the shingle. And they went down there to see. They appreciate that it doesn't look like a schoolhouse. I'm just quoting what was said. Don't like the sliding doors. That would seem to be a consensus. But this design is more appropriate. Visibility will be the factor. So that was still a concern. And they did give a recommendation to approve without the doors. And submit after framing.
Which sliding doors are they referring to?
I believe that would be these.
There's no
on
way
the
they'll see those.
west.
I mean, I would just, if you look at the site plan, I just don't know where you'd see those from. But, you know, if that's, because it's way deep into the site and there's hedging. I actually have a picture. where you can see the existing house that I can send to you, Holly, but you're looking beyond, there's another house. You know, this doesn't, it's probably better to look at the locus.
I don't see that you could see it. What I've got up here with new recreation barn, I think the house on the left blocks the view of that whole barn, doesn't it not?
Well, you can see where the barn is going to be, but I don't think you'll see the, I'll email Holly this picture. Those doors are facing into the property.
Yeah.
So at best, you would see them from the side.
I think their concern, Madam Chair, was more from a visibility of Brant Point, understanding that the existing structure is still there, which everybody is aware of.
From Brant Point, meaning from Wall Street?
Brant Point Road, I think, over here.
Yeah, that's where my picture is from.
Okay.
Well, it's actually from North Beach. But there's some hedging there. And I think you'll be looking at the building obliquely.
All right, well, we will hold their discussion under advisement as we go on. We'll start with Val.
I appreciate the changes, and I have nothing else.
Okay, thank you. Abby?
Yeah, I really like this. I like the changes and I like the structure. My only concern is the barn part sort of a big mass from whatever street that is on the, could you show me the locust?
The Brant Point Road, I think, is what you're talking about, Abby.
Yeah, the
You'll
long
see-
width, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll see in the photo, it actually runs perpendicular to
Yeah.
that road. So you'll see the gable end. But there is a big house there now that's being removed.
Yeah.
Not a
Good.
new house that's
Yeah,
going.
that was sort of one of my questions was what is it replacing? I mean, if it was a big field with daisies, it would be sort of missed. But if there was already a structure there.
There's a structure there that I just sent you can see in the picture that I sent. Oh, there she got it. I just got your reply. So that's the building it's replacing with the roof walk.
Oh, well,
So you'll be seeing the gable end of this, of the barn.
right like you said, at an oblique angle as it goes away from the road.
Yeah.
Could I see that elevation? What elevation is that?
The south.
See there, south. Can I
Yeah.
take a peek at that south elevation, please? I think I'm okay with this. I just want to see that. It's got the two windows on it.
It's got one window and then two barn doors below that are meant to be sliding, that are not shown that way now, but they're meant to be sliding.
So this is from the road that we
Nope.
would see?
South.
This one?
Nope.
East. That.
That one. Yes.
Yeah, but also you'll see alongside of, you'll see that, but then is it the east elevation that you'll also catch a glimpse of? Is that what it is going back?
Yeah, but it's, yeah.
With the two windows.
The east elevation, yes. With the two windows, that's correct.
Okay, yeah, okay, I'm fine with this. Thank you for letting me figure it out there.
Okay, Steve?
Yep, good with it.
Okay, and I am too. I don't mind the sliding doors. They don't turn me off. I don't know what other people think, but I'm good with it too. So I would have, may I have a motion to or do whatever you like?
So just on the, you're gonna keep the vegetation on that road as well? Is that
Oh,
gonna stay? Yeah. Okay, just,
They don't want to see the road as much as the road doesn't want to see them.
oh, okay.
You know what I
So-
mean? They'll,
Yeah.
they'll plant something back there.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
Thank you. Thank you. Val,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
and me is an I. So that's all 4 ayes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next one is 4 John Adams Lane.
Yes, and Holly, maybe I should send you a photo of the house. I know that we actually revised the design. It's no longer a hip. But everybody was curious about what the house looked like, and I forgot to send that ahead of time. So I'll send that right now as you're pulling it up.
Okay.
It's quite exterior. Find a good picture of the back of the house. Mhm. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I just emailed Holly a picture of the back. So this is, again, a pool structure that is on the rear of a lot that is down a long driveway. So I think the visibility is definitely very limited. But we had previously submitted as a hip with 2 dormers. And there was some concern about the hip to roof and how it coordinated with the rest of the architecture on the lot. So this is the exterior of the house. That's actually the front, but the back is very similar to that. I can try to find a picture of the back if you'd like to see the back. But that's the existing architecture that we're dealing with. And then you'll
And
see.
those
Sorry, Diane?
the windows are 6/1s, right?
Yeah, I think so. Hold on. I
Okay.
was just gonna send another photo to Holly.
They look pretty 6/1s.
I'm pretty sure they are. I'm just not
Yeah.
looking at the picture at the moment.
Yeah, they're 6/1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So have we got some pictures of the cabana or any things from Hashab?
Yeah, if you want to pull up the cabana drawings, and then I can pull up this rear elevation that I just had and now can't seem to find.
Lisa, what faces the road? What direction?
What would face the road would be east.
Okay. I think the east is the only thing we're gonna have visibility of.
Yes.
I do have a question. Does it need to have such a big gabled roof? You know, the sides are sort of small and minimal. Just curious. How tall
Well,
is it?
it's only 18 feet. I think need is a interesting word. I think the gable from the side. Are you concerned with the view from the east? I actually don't mind it from the east.
Oh, and there's a guest house blocking it from the
There's a guest
street.
house blocking it.
Okay. I don't have any concerns then.
I don't think you're gonna. I think the visibility is non-existent.
All righty. Stephen,
I agree with what's been said.
all right. Abby,
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I like the previous too, so.
okay, so can I get a motion, please?
Motion to approve is submitted.
Thank you. Stephen,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
and me, I also.
Happier, Abby. You look sad, Abby.
I'm sorry. I'm going through a sad period. I'm so sorry. Just
No, that's okay. I'm
everything's
sorry.
kind of awful, but
I'm sorry.
thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, so,
Bye, Lisa.
Have a nice day.
You too.
okay, so the next one is 32 Westchester. New dwelling, BPC.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Bye.
I don't think I'm on this one, Diane.
Famous dad.
I think it's just Val, Diane, and Stephen.
Right.
Okay.
It is me, Oliver, and Welch. That is all that is on it. So do you want to begin, Stephen?
You mean, you want me to begin?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's okay. What? Yes, you have to begin.
Yeah, well, this page that Holly has up, I just thought would be a benefit. It goes back to the first submission and then its evolution to the current. And so last time, I'm just going to go down to the last one that's labeled as current. I just included these as reference. We steepened the pitch of the main mass and we adjusted the front door. We eliminated the X railing details on both the front elevation and the side elevation. And we added corner boards. There were cottage corners before. So a lot of these clouds represent those changes across all the elevations. Probably the biggest change was an issue that Stephen had with the north elevation. And the north elevation, the separation between the primary and the secondary masses, that roof plane was continuous. And what we did was we dropped the plate height of that secondary mass to separate those roof planes along that long side. And going back to the first submission all the way back to February, even the shed dormer overlapped the main mass. The second meeting, we pulled that shed dormer back. And then the last time you reviewed it, they were still lined up, but I think it was a nagging issue for Stephen in particular. The south side has always clearly shown that separation, but so this time around, we've separated those masses, and I think makes for a more successful massing along. It's the least visible side, but I think it makes for a more successful massing. And the other change was over on the south, which is the bottom right. The French, or the doors, I should say, have gone from 4 lights. Now their light configuration is more in proportion with the windows, and there are panels on the bottom, and those panels happen to align with the sill heights of the adjacent windows. So I think, and the other thing that we did on the south elevation that's evident is that with the introduction of the corner boards, we've pulled in the width, that south facing porch, so that we pulled it in, I think, 18 inches left and right, so that its overall width diminishes and you can read the corner boards all the way through. And obviously that makes for a better condition on the front of the building as well, because it's a little more stepped back, if that makes sense. I think
Thank you. Those are very good. It's a good, clear picture of what's happened. I like that.
Madam
Except you
Chair.
can hardly see it. It's like minuscule.
There's
The
other
next-
sheets. I'll get
The
to them.
next pages, sorry, the next 2 pages compare just what you looked at before and done now. So this
Okay.
one gives you a better picture of that north elevation and how we broke the mass just to the left of that shed dormer. And the eave heights have dropped where they used to line up between the primary and secondary mass. And you can see the clouds for the corner boards. And on the next page, if you don't mind, Holly, you can see, yeah, here on the bottom right elevation, the south, with the introduction of those corner boards, the size of the porch coming in. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
You can also see on the west elevation now how that secondary mass, that ridge height being dropped down, the rake boards aren't in line like they were previously on that upper left west elevation. And that it just seemed to be an item that you might have been able to live with, but I wanted to address that on the north side.
Madam Chair, if I may, do have some comments on these revisions from HSAB
okay.
for your consideration. They might be something that we really take into consideration. So on the east elevation, there's appreciation for that front door. On the north, they thought there would be a separation in the roof plane, push the upper wall and increase the shed roof was a comment. On the south, seemed to be a massive wall, break the dormer into two, symmetry to dormers to the right. The French doors looked horizontal. The panes, I think, is what the comment was. If you look at them, they look more horizontal. There was more concern on that south elevation door panes. Seems to be a lot of glass on the south elevations. There was a comment about the shutters, but we looked at the elevation of the shutters. There's a comment about how it was more of a sconset appeal, but there was also I think this is a very constructive comment as far as the fact that the porch on the north elevation could wrap around a little bit better to the south elevation. I think, sorry, east and south. Benefit with a wraparound porch, and that would kind of break up that wall. On the south elevation, symmetry was needed, and then here's a suggestion of the porch on the south to be deeper in width. Let's see,
How
and
deep
then
Some of those are kind of hard to follow.
how deep is
Yeah.
the porch to the south?
I'm not too sure.
I think it's 5 feet. I mean, well, the setback is there, and I didn't want to add unnecessary porch. And I thought wrapping that porch and having a hip roof on the front elevation is a much different look than an additive shed porch. So I thought that it made sense to create a distinction between the porch to the south and the porch that faces the road versus wrapping them around the corner. It just seemed like it would increase the size of the building because we're not looking at that front elevation, but I think it's on the page up above. You'd have an unbroken beam that would go all the way across that elevation and then start to turn the corner. And you would also lose the main mass starts to get obscured a little bit because the roof hides the continuation of the corner board. So I think I never presented that scheme to the HDC at one point, but I just thought it simplified the elevation by having it be an additive shed porch instead of the hip.
And Madam Chair, if I just mentioned that there seemed to be an overall comment from HSAB, and I know they appreciate looking at this, and I understand that this started before COVID, so I respect that. But that this is, as we all know, is an infill lot within the core historic district, and we have a bungalow, I think, or a gambrel on one lot and a contemporary structure on another, and there was a comment, is this seems to be a little too big for the area. What exactly style is it going for? Is it going for a bungalow? So those are just some overall comments as far as the what type of style it was going towards. But I hope you appreciate the comments. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your comments, their comments. All right,
Well,
Steve, are you finished or you got other stuff to say?
Well, I think that this is actually accessed off of Wesco Place, and it's an eclectic street. You know, there is a bungalow, there is the Gambrel that's across the street from this. There is like a ranch at the end of this road. It's an infill lot, but it's a narrow and deep lot. So the narrowest elevation is facing the street. At the end of Wesco Place on Westchester is a little bit kind of up on the little hill is a little bit of a farmhouse with 2/2 windows. This is meant to be in that vernacular. I mean, clearly it's not a Quaker style house. We didn't want to do another Gambrel because its twin would be across the street. So it's meant to be, it's not quite a farmhouse. I mean, originally with the 2/2 windows, we were trying to go for that a little bit more, but and this has been in front of the board since February, and between the first meeting and the second meeting, which is on the next page, there was a response from kind of a lack of language to trying to give this some language. There was a lot of support for the shutters and having this feel a little bit more bungalow-esque, I guess. Anyway, you can see that the language hasn't changed in the last 3 iterations. Anyway, I thought that we were close to getting an approval. The dormer on the south that was now brought up to being split in 2 has been a single dormer since meeting number 1 with ganged windows, and now those windows are split. So, I mean, I have a lot of respect for HSAB, but I'm hearing new items with each submission. It's a little.
I understand. We understand. It's hard. Are you finished? I should get called.
Yeah, I am. Thanks for asking.
Okay. Stephen,
Unmuting.
Steve,
Yep, I'm here. Thanks, Madam Chair. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about the HSAB comments. I totally get them, but I don't know where they were on June 3rd with or June 11th with those comments. I'd also ask that maybe if it's possible, if the meeting schedules work, I don't know what the meeting schedules were, so it may not work, but there was a period where we were getting the HSAB and the other advisory board comments in the packet. And I personally found that really helpful to be able to reflect on in advance. So if that's possible, I'd like to ask that we just try and do that. With respect to the changes that were requested at the last meeting, I appreciate the change on the north elevation. I think the addressing the roof pitch is helpful. I think that the fact that the smallest, well, I wouldn't say the smallest, well, maybe I should say the smallest, least involved facade faces Wesco is an important aspect of this. And I think I get the comments about the French doors. I don't disagree, but I think those are going to be oblique from the street. And I think overall the net going to a 6/1 with the 12 light doors with a panel is an improvement versus the 2/2 with the 4 light doors. So I'm comfortable with that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
oh, thank you. Val,
Thanks. Thanks, Joe. The changes you made are very good. My only concern really is still the south and it being so heavily fenestrated. But I do appreciate the 6/1 windows, as Stephen just said, and the doors should be 12 light. They're drawn now as 8 light, and I think if they were 12 light, the panes would be more vertical than horizontal. So
Yeah,
I'd really like to see the 2 triples on the first floor be, have a window removed in between both of those, but it's the first floor. I'm not sure we're going to see that. The second floor we will see from across the wetland.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the justification on my part for that amount of fenestration was try to minimize over time here, the ganged windows on the second floor and the fact that you will view this obliquely. And if you look at the plan or the site plan, I guess, up 2 pages, this is an L-shaped house, and that wing that extends back is set back a good 16 feet from the corner of that porch. So when you look at the south elevation, you read in 2 dimensions, you read that as a big line, but I don't think you're not gonna see the length of that house, even if you look at it obliquely. So I think that the view and the elevation is exacerbating the
Yeah,
experience.
that happens a lot.
If that makes sense. I think it's an important thing to note.
All right.
Thank you for that. I appreciate you pointing that out, because you're right. Sometimes when we're looking at them, they seem like it's just one line across, and I'm okay with the changes. Thank you.
All righty. I just say quickly that I appreciate the breaking up of the roof. I think that's very good. I appreciate the windows being separated. I'm sure you would pick out the shape of the windows of the French doors, being that you know what we want.
Yeah,
It's probably just your printer thing. And this street is a weird street. So much of it's low going down, and the Westchester is up above, looking over. It. I don't think that you're going to, and it's not a. I suppose it's a public street, but it's a dead end, so it's not a lot of people go down there except for the people who live there. I think the view will be difficult to see because of the amount of foliage and everything else that is there, at least in the summertime. So I have not got a problem. I like what you have done in the fence, and I think that it is a fence on the porch. Sorry, looking at the fencing of the porch. I think it looks very good in your proposed. So I have no problem with the way you have presented this, and just say it's very interesting to see all 4 previous submissions on one page. You can really see what has been done and what's been corrected.
I'm glad it wasn't approved at the first meeting.
I think that as far as that shed dormer and stuff, it fits in. We've never particularly opposed it, and the breaking up of the roof is such. I find at the thing, as I say, no problem. So can I get a motion from the 3 of us? One of the 3 of us.
Motion to approve with the doors on the south being changed to 12 light
Okay.
with the kick panel.
Okay. Alrighty. And Stephen,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
and me, Diane, is I also.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
He's got another one.
This one will be easy.
God, I hope.
81, oh, yes, you do. 81 Cliff Road. We have, and Abby is joining us for this one.
Yeah.
So we will do 81 Cliff, which is an addition.
Yeah, this is the cape that sits obliquely on the corner here of Sherburne and Cliff. And I think the comments were essentially about the front elevation, the one that faces the road, had to do with the dormer size. The shed dormer that's being added felt small and under fenestrated. And then the link that connects the existing cape to the new gable addition was also, there was a comment about that being under fenestrated, and the windows previously were kind of spread apart. So what we've done is we've taken a cue from the existing double hung windows that were there, and they're shown in that link. And then the other comment in the gable was that those windows that we previously had felt like they should actually be taller. So we made those windows taller. There weren't any comments on the other elevations, actually. It was all about those fenestration elements that face the road, but primarily about the dormer. I think that was probably the biggest sticking point, was that the dormer felt a little too narrow for the size of that existing structure. But the shed dormer that you see on this north is existing. So all that second floor of the cape, the size of that dormer and the fenestration locations is all existing. We're adding the French doors that are there that face internal to the lot. And so everything that we're adding is a single story addition to this existing structure. And there's a porch that's being added to the front as well. That porch doesn't run across the front because we're trying to emphasize the symmetry of the building, which kind of exists around the existing front door. That's why the shed dormer is centered on the door and on the porch versus on the width of that existing cape.
Alrighty.
I'll go first. I might say something nobody likes, but I can give it a shot. Is that okay, Madam Chair?
Yes, yes, please,
Okay.
Val.
So
Abby,
I was
go along.
thinking, I was just wondering if you put in 2 more windows up there in the southeast on the front, over the front door, 2 more, so making it 6. Those 2 extra ones on either side would be right above the first floor windows. And I think that would make it even a better design, because I think right now it looks a little small to me. The back looks too big, but this I think looks a little small. But I'd like to hear what my fellow board members think of that idea.
I'll tell you what I think.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
know what you think, Diane.
Oh, all right. Is that all for right now?
That's it for me.
Okay. Val,
Joe, the garage has gone away, right?
Correct, yes, there's,
Okay.
yep, the right-hand side of this existing has a 2-car attached garage that faces Sherburne that's been removed.
Okay. I don't mind the dormer, and I think maybe 1 more window would be okay. I don't have a strong feeling either way. I'm wondering about the gable addition. It seems as though the eave of that is higher than the existing house, and the windows are up higher. So what's going on there? Is it stepping up?
The floor level is all the same. It's a vaulted space. It's the kitchen area, kitchen sitting area. The only reason why I've stepped that up is because of the shed roof. I thought was a nice termination to this rhythm on the building. And I didn't want that to climb up too high on that gable. And I thought that given the relative ridge heights, that having the eave heights be different from one another would be fine, because they don't line up with each other. One's perpendicular to the other, I guess, is the better way to say it. So like when you look at the side elevation down below here, the fact that that eave is higher doesn't seem to matter much, because it's pretty clear that that gable addition is diminutive relative to the existing cape. So I wanted it to feel a little quirky. Definitely it was intentional that that eave, which is parallel to the existing cape eave, that dropped down. But I was trying to get some rhythm to the different eave lines.
Okay, just curious about the window though, that it's not lining up. It doesn't, it's taller in the ceiling, I mean, on the wall.
Yeah, it is. In the previous submittal, it was closer. The head height was closer, but what results in sort of a squashed looking window and a lot of shingle area, which then I think makes that gable look, maybe it's got too much shingle space in it. So the comment from the board was to actually put the taller windows there. I kept the sill height essentially the same, so the taller windows raise the head height of those windows and fills in that empty shingle space. Those windows exist above a counter, so it works internally. And I didn't adjust the massing because I just dealt with the fenestration aspect of it.
Okay.
I'm just explaining
Yeah,
how it evolved, but
Mhm.
you know, it would work probably if that little link that comes across, if the eave line of that link and the eave line of the gable were all the same, it would work. But I thought that breaking it up actually made for a more interesting story.
Yeah, okay. Just,
All right.
I'm just curious.
Steve,
I'm good with the dormer as it is. I think you nailed the quirky on that eave and that whole thing with the windows. So, and I think much of it is probably not going to be. Let me just bear with me a second here.
The front's definitely visible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was looking more at the. Oh, we're not changing anything on the main structure at the rear dormer. Okay. Yeah, I think it's fine.
okay, thank
Thank
you. I agree with what you've done. I, however, like only the 4 windows in the dormer on the front. I think it makes it. I think if we put 6 or even 5 there, it would make two person over the house, the main part of the house. I think it would just be nothing but windows, first, second floor, and take away from the originality of the design. So I am good with what you have presented. So I don't know what anybody wants to do, but let's have a motion.
Motion to approve as submitted.
Thank you. Stephen,
Aye.
Valerie,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
and I am an I also. So that is the approval for you, Joe.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having this meeting today. It was a huge help.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a
All
lot.
right. Our next one is 5 North. This is 5 North Liberty. No, 5, which is a door replacement.
Madam Chair, this did go before HSAB. Again, let me see. And there's comments on the difference between the two. There's a proposed A of 9 light versus proposed B of 12 light. Don't mind the 12 light for the left, but not for the front. So that's something to take in consideration. Front door, leave it as is. This is a formal side. This is the overall comments is having it only for that side door. Front door should stay the same. And obviously that door would be a Dutch. So those are the comments. I believe there's also discussion about the lights, why the proposal came back with 9 light versus 12 lights. And I alluded to the conversation that you all had with Steve about bringing out the lights in the existing historic window. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Holly, for telling him that.
This is the building that used to be the theater, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, so do we have somebody?
I agree with HSAB. I think a 12 light as the side door, so to speak, on the left is fine, but I don't think as a front door it's appropriate.
Okay, so what would you like to have as the front door?
They have a front door, leave the front door.
Leave the front door.
Or
Okay.
replace it like kind or something, if it needs to be new.
Yeah. All right. And Abby,
Is the, yeah, see how that left side is like under a porch and back from the front? I'm not so concerned about that. But would that 12 light be a Dutch door? Or is that impossible? The 12 light,
That's what they're proposing, either a 9 light or a 12 light Dutch door.
okay.
I don't mind that.
Yeah, I can go either way. I think that sits back. It's dark enough under there that you don't even, yeah. But I'm okay with either way on it's a really quirky house and it's quirky, Barney, theatrical. So I don't mind going both ways with the Dutch door, both ways with the Dutch door. So I'd like to hear what other people say.
all right. Steve,
Thanks, Madam Chair. Yeah, I think the thing to keep in mind for me, at least I'm keeping in mind, is that that porch is set back and it's actually not only set back, but it's shadowed. So for me, the concept of a 12 light versus a 9 light with a Dutch door at the front is acceptable because I think although it's not a traditional 6-panel wood door, front door, I think it's acceptable in that location. And more so because the 2 doors won't be competing because the other one is set back and in shade. Thank
so
you.
what do you want? Do you want a 9 light or a 12 light?
I definitely don't believe the 9 light's appropriate. It's too, I think it's
Too big.
confusing and not complementary.
Okay, so we'll go with the 12 light type of thing. I agree with the 12 light Dutch door under the little shed roof and shade. So may I get a motion?
So a motion to approve with the 12 light Dutch doors.
All right, thank you. Abby,
Aye.
Val,
I'm a no.
you're a no.
I'm a no for both, yeah. I mean, I do the one, but for the motion, no.
Okay. Steve,
I'm an aye.
and I'm an I, so that's 3-1. So that carries.
Thanks for the changes, Steve. Appreciate it.
So the next thing is 6 and 7 have been asked to 6 to hold for the next meeting, which will be new business, but otherwise they have to wait a month. So they are asking that number 6, which is 5 South Water Street, be put on the next first meeting. And I need a motion for that.
So moved.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I have a question for that applicant. Matt, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So just addressing some of your concerns earlier, we are able to hold all these applications for next week's new business meeting. Did you want to hold 5 South Water Street for that meeting or for, the next old business meeting later on in
No.
September?
next week's meeting.
Okay, he just said next old business, so I wasn't certain. Okay. And for number 7, you want to totally withdraw that, Matt?
Yeah, I'm sorry too. I got distracted by that previous question. Sorry.
Okay,
So-
can I just have you send me an email that you would like to withdraw 73 Baxter and move off demo?
Sure, certainly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we don't, if he's withdrawing it, we don't have to vote on that, I guess. So let's
then-
do, what?
So then how does that work for the next application as a new garage if the old one's not going away?
So what's,
Go on, Matt.
I was just questioning. So what I was going to say is what the new design, Val, for 73 Baxter Road is we're utilizing a portion of the garage, and so therefore it would not be a demolition. Does that make
Thank
sense?
you. Yes,
And that's why
absolutely.
we're
Okay.
withdrawing. Just that application 8 would still, and then we bring up a great point. I'm sorry, I can't talk, but sorry, I got my 7-year-old here too. What I was going to say is with the garage, technically we would change that to an addition. I'd have to change the just in terms of updating the paperwork. I'll just do that through the staff, I assume.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so let's vote on the 5 South Water Street is to be held for the next meeting. Next new meeting, which is next meeting, right?
Correct. Next Monday.
Yes. Okay, so may I have a motion for that?
Motion to
Moved.
hold.
Okay, Stephen,
Aye.
thank you. Abby,
All right.
Val,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Okay, so that is gone and Baxter Road is gone, so we are going to look at 73 Baxter Road, a garage.
I'm ready whenever you are, Madam Chair.
Okay, we're ready.
You want to wait for the drawings?
Yep, Holly's getting it pulled up right now.
Okay,
All right, so you're familiar with this structure. So the game plan is now, just to cut to it, is to keep the existing garage or the front portion of it to repurpose it as a storage structure for bikes. Obviously, you won't be able to fit a vehicle in there, but it will be useful for bicycles and other beach gear, if you will. Previously, we did have a second floor on this structure, and we presented to you a preliminary schematic last meeting indicative of an eave forward option. In developing the idea further and reviewing it with the owner and our client, it just the second floor just got squeezed to the point where it really wasn't that attractive and useful. And so we have omitted the second floor of this structure completely. So essentially, this is just a one-story addition to the existing garage. So the idea is that we pick up the structure, we move it over, and we add on to it off the back of the structure. We did do some studies with the secondary additive mass or the secondary additive piece towards the back of the property as a gable. It looked a little bit vertical. I think the board consistently has encouraged us to integrate a eave forward addition, if at all. So essentially, this is a one-story addition to the existing garage. Again, the primary purpose of the structure is a office space for our clients. Basically, that's the primary purpose. So that's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. All
Madam Chair, I do have Sconset advisory comments based on the revisions.
right, and I'd like to see the thing moved up so we see more than
Absolutely.
what
Sorry.
we see what we're talking about specifically. Okay. All right, what does
Sconset met on Monday. I know Matt wasn't able to come, and that's fine. I understand that completely. So there was kind of some, just questions on what the intention is. I didn't want to assume, but I kind of thought that's what the intention was, that it was going to be more of a storage and eliminating the second floor and having it just as an office area. Especially how the fact that even though it gives the illusion that it is a garage, but when you look at the floor plan, obviously you're not going to be able to fit a car through it. So just by deductive logic, it was definitely not going to continue as a garage, but it has that garage feel. They did like the idea of using the old garage. That was appreciative, like the concept better in the 3D that was proposed. I think the showing really how the elevation was. They actually liked that a lot better with the shed dormer that was facing west. Let's see. There was a comment on why the addition on the back had to be so high when there was no second floor. Obviously, with the program, I'm assuming wanting to have more of a cathedral type ceiling. The old garage, this was a comment. I'm just quoting what was said, and you can see the video. The old garage is a hood ornament for a new garage. That was just a comment. There was also a question on, obviously retaining the existing and adding the addition, what the percentage of the existing structure would be demoed. Was that 50%? There was a comment on it's reading as a studio. Obviously, it's going to be an office. Let's see. Why change what's there? Why not keep the south wall and keep face existing? Those were pretty much the comments. That's it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. All right, let's see. Val, would you like to begin?
Okay, hold on, because I have it up in front of me on my computer. I appreciate a lot of this. I think it still needs to be a little bit more finessed. For instance, I think maybe the eave line of the addition could drop down facing the street, making it more of like a salt box form. That's not important to the design, but I think it would not feel so much like the little garage is appended to a bigger structure.
I think it's
if the roof kind of just butted into it.
I totally see that's a great idea, Val.
And I think the stature is much smaller. I also think that's better for the house. So anything you can do, like I think that could drop the height a little bit too, Matt, and I do not think it will hurt your interior program. So I like the direction.
Madam Chair, could I just follow up on Val's comment? Just
Yes.
But
Yep.
yeah, no, we could totally do that. We'll just run this continuous down and then we get rid of this little piece here, right?
Oh, but so you're gonna leave the height the same. Okay.
I mean, the height is fairly, it may look in relationship to the structure, but again, compositionally, it works pretty well with the house next door. Don't forget the house has that height. So we did drop the height because the grade, if you notice, actually does, slope up a bit. And so in order to get like a decent plate height on this side, it is technically higher than this lower side, but I think that was a great suggestion. I could just run this rake down very easily, so.
Okay.
Okay. Stephen,
Yeah, I agree with Commissioner Oliver's comments. Thanks, Matt, for working with us on this. I think it's important. I was a little concerned about the garage door size and the light size, but I think part of that is this kind of mushroom top in the background that's going to, no offense intended, but that's, that separation space. Sorry, my mind's already someplace else. I was going to leave at 1.
Me too.
Or at 2 rather. I think that eliminating the separation between the eave of the addition and the soffit area and joining that with the existing structure is going to make a difference that will help to address my concern with the garage doors. Thank you, Madam Chair.
all righty. And Abby?
Yeah, I like the suggestion of sort of a, whatever that is, the height coming down on the back portion but also moving into the front on either side. I think that's a great idea. I think it combines the two together. Right now, they look disconnected. So I'm fine with that. But I'd kind of like to see it drawn up, Matt. Would that be okay?
Yeah, we're obviously trying to, move the ball forward there, but yeah, I think as long as if everybody is in agreement with that direction, then, if that's the pleasure of the board, we can certainly do that. But,
Madam Chair, if I just, on that topic, if I could comment, if we go that route, I would ask that whoever makes a motion that we would hear this at the next meeting that we've just continued some of these others over to.
Yes.
I think we've held this, for a while and the applicant's been working with us. So I don't want to unduly burden them.
Okay, that's fine. I just do very quick. How tall is the whole building, Matt?
that is, give me 1 second with the reduced scale. 21 feet, 21.3, I think.
Yeah, it's small.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just
It's small.
yeah, and the existing house is pushing 30, so and again,
Right.
it's kind of deceiving because it's kind of set back. So yeah, 21 feet, 3.
Okay, well, I would do that and say anything that you could make that roof line not so tall, or break it, make it, I don't know what, I just would like to see it.
Okay, but
See
it
it
sounds
sep-
like everyone's pretty much on board. So I think that if that's the case, then yeah, and again, if we could be on next week, that's even better. So
Yep, I would take
that
a
very much.
motion I would take a motion to hold for
Motion for revisions.
and placement on next week's new business meeting.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, everyone.
Madam Chair, I'm going to take off as well. It's 2:00 and I think we said we would just, we would stop. at
Okay,
2, so-
yeah, we'll stop at 2. I was going to ask about that next time, but I need you to say aye on the motion that you just made.
Motion to adjourn.
No,
No, which
No.
one?
Abby, we need a motion on making revisions.
Oh, I
And
thought we just did that.
you made the motion, but we have to approve it now.
Yep.
So just say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Stephen
Aye.
and me, I say aye too. So,
Madam Chair, may I ask that with the continuation of these, we just add them to the agenda next week?
yes, I am going to ask
You-
for a
Which-
motion.
Numbers 9 through 14
Yes,
added to the beginning of the agenda next week, wherever they fall in with whatever else we have moved. That would be
Okay.
my motion.
okay, well, I think they're all matched and I think should fit in. So, Abby,
I
aye.
made a motion to adjourn. I don't,
So, hold that, we're still taking care of
are
the
we still taking care of the,
agenda. Just wait a minute.
yes, aye.
Thank you. Stephen,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. All right, so that moves everything over to Tuesday, new meeting.
Thank you
Now-
all very much. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Matt, for being so patient. I'm sorry.
Thank you for all your hard work. I know it's a grind. Thank you.
All right, have a good one. So now I will take Abby's motion. Val,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye. With many thanks.
Abby.
She's gone.
It's gone.
She's already done it. And I am too. Thank you all for coming today. Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Kadeem.
Bye, Diane. Thank you, Dee. See you guys. Bye.
Bye, goodbye. Bye, Holly.